So now let me please introduce you to Guillermo Arriaga. So Guillermo, maybe you should tell us a little about how Three Burials came about as an idea for you and eventually how it got to Tommy Lee Jones.
First of all, good night, sorry for being late. I was far away in Mexico. No, that's true. Good night. Richard, you know, I'm kind of obsessed with the border. Every border is always like a huge scar, especially the Mexican-American border, because in Mexico there was this sense that that was our land. And many Mexicans were trapped in that land, in Texas, California, New Mexico. So it has become like a special place that still hasn't resolved that in and out of Mexicans. So I'm obsessed with it. So I travel to the border like 8 to 10 times a year. And I like very much what's going on there. And so I have these friends of mine, which his last name is Estrada. Melquiades Estrada is a real guy. He doesn't know how to read and write. And his brother Lucio. And they are my friends. I'm the godfather of the kids of these guys. And they live in Wisconsin now. So I love my friend, and I make a film with his name just to represent a little bit of what it means to be in the States as an illegal alien. He's an illegal alien. Just to let you know, when he left, his wife was pregnant, and he met his daughter when she was 10 years old. I was telling right now at the dinner, make me come late, that jealousy is also an important part of migration. Suddenly, your man lives 3,000 miles to the north, and the woman doesn't know if his husband is going to stay there with another woman. She's there with the kids. And the man is sending the money to the wife, and he doesn't know if he's paying, so she's living around with everyone. So sometimes jealousy destroys families. And not knowing your kid, imagine not knowing your kid until he's 10. It's like, so I wanted to portray this in this film. When I was a kid, I was talking with this revolutionary soldier he was badly wounded in a battle, and he was lying there, and the coyotes were eating the corpses, and the coyote was eating him, and he was like, the coyote didn't mind. He began munching his neck. So I was very impressed with that description of the coyote. And I've been around coyotes, and I've been around illegal people, and I know that area of Texas pretty well, so that's where it comes from.
So, the land that we see, this is mostly filmed in Texas, and actually some of it on Tommy Lee Jones' property.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones has a small property, 250,000 acres. You know, a little piece of land to wander around, you know. So, yeah.
And so how did the script get in his hands?
Well, I was once walking on the street, and I received a phone call. Say, in Spanish, hola, ¿qué tal? I say, hola, ¿qué tal? How are you? Good. Habla Tommy Lee Jones. And I was, yeah, this is what's funny, man. I'm not used to have calls from movie stars. Say, you speak English? Yes, I do. Okay, perfect. I like Morris Perez very much, and I want to work with you. He said, good. Why don't you have dinner with me at my house? good. So I went to his house and say, let's make a film together. And the reason I traveled to the border is because I love hunting, and he loves hunting. So he invited me to go hunting to his small property.
Him too with a bow and arrow like you.
No.
Him with a rifle.
And it was the first time I get into a private plane. This was the first time I traveled in a private plane. So he invited me hunting, and when we were hunting, he said, well, are we going to make a film together? I say, yes. Okay, perfect. Write whatever you want. I'll direct. So what do you want to talk about? I say, the border? Perfect. Let's make a film about the border. You know, Texas. How Texas speak. No? Good. I say a class with these screenwriting gurus. And the screenwriting gurus say, you must know everything about your character, even the amount of change he carries in the pocket. Say, how boring is that? How the characters are going to surprise me. So I have no idea of many things like this one. So I don't know if he was married or not. I will ask him.
Okay.
But he's dead.
Yeah.
So I have to die so I can ask him.
Okay.
Yes, in the back?
Yeah, there seems to be a change in reality at the border now. As you know, the economy of Mexico is improving relative to the United States. I had an opportunity to live for 3 years in Querétaro in central Mexico, and the young people there don't talk about coming to the United States at all anymore. They're able to find jobs in Mexico, in central Mexico, and I'm wondering if your future films will reflect this new reality.
First of all, can we turn off this light? I was watching some deer in the road. I feel like one blows. Yeah, it's yeah. You don't choose the themes. The themes choose you. You know. I cannot speak of something on purpose. Those are the themes that have been in my head for many, many years. So I don't know if I can speak about it. I think tomorrow I'm going to speak about the border.
Yes.
And the reality of the border. Right now, in the dinner I had, there were two couples, American, married with Mexicans. I think the reality of the world is changing. I have some points of view about what's going on in the border. Yeah, the Mexican economy is growing. Well, we will keep on growing because what is shameful is not that the United States build walls. What is shameful is that Mexico cannot give enough jobs and good life to the Mexicans, so they have to leave their country, which is very painful. As I told you, I don't know if you would like to leave your country and don't speak the language and be chased by the law and go into jail because you're looking for work. That's what I think is shameful.
Yes, in back there, and then here. First you in back, yes.
I'm curious, of all of the jobs that are available in the film industry, how did you decide that you wanted to be a screenwriter? Or like what you currently do in the film industry, or like how you started, what made you want to be a part of that?
This is something I wanted to be since I was a kid.
Maybe we could start, we'll be able to take questions, and actually let's switch, so I'll be able to pass the mic around if questions. I thought maybe I'll just start by asking you to say something about the origins of the film, some of the images and ideas that really inspired you at the beginning. Understand?
Well, first of all, thank you for watching it, being here so late. Do you notice the concept behind it? Yes? Which will be the concept? It's very easy. There are 4 elements. Each story has to do with an element. Guess why I came to Oregon? There's some water here, especially coming from the sky. There's rivers and there's sea, there's water everywhere. So Charlize Theron's story comes from water. Then I have Kim Basinger's and Joaquin de Almeida story comes from dust, from earth. That's what I was looking for, a very barren plain, lonely, difficult to find in the United States. Very difficult. We scouted truly to find it. And we have fire, the story of the kids. They're always, that's why I was there what's easy for us? Fireplace? Bonfires, or they burn themselves. Everything has to do with fire. And then we have the wind. That's why we have the planes. I say the
crop duster.
Crop dusters.
Yeah.
Sorry, but at this time my brain is almost burned out. What it remains. So, and the birds. That's why this, so it would be that concept allowed me to understand the film. Not only in terms of narrative structure, but also in terms of aesthetics, of how I was going to plan to see each one of them. I remember when I was scouting in New Mexico, I asked the guy from the film commission, take your car far away. Now come to me. If there was dust, that was the right location. If not, it wasn't. So I said, no, it's not working.
The burning house is such a strong image. And
Yeah.
where did that come from?
Yeah, we were playing when I was like 8, 9 years old. We were playing soccer on the streets, and a kid came in the bicycle and said, there's fire, there's fire. So we hopped on the bicycles and went to go, and we were watching the house on fire. And so yeah, and now it says it's so sad that a family is burning alive inside there. So suddenly this house on fire became something different. Just imagining kids and the grandmother and the parents burning alive. It's my age. Then the fire workers say, no, that's not true. It was a dog and everything that was inside, but we never knew the real thing because it was not in our block. It was like, you can only see the smoke like far away. While we were shooting the burning plane, our crop duster had an accident. Unfortunately, someone was killed. And when Charlize, we were making the takes of Charlize in the car, we heard an explosion, and a gas tank exploded, and a mother and her 2 kids died, burned like here. So those coincidences, very sad coincidence.
I have to ask just the story behind some of the casting and how, for example, you discovered Jennifer Lawrence so early in her career.
And it's not that I discovered her, it's like, I was fortunate enough to work with her. David Sain, the casting director, called me and say, she's a very good and legendary casting director, by the way. She's excellent. She casted Traffic or Gladiator or many of these films, Saving Private Ryan. She's like big name. She said, 5 or 6 girls came today to the office, and 5 or 6 boys came today to the office. This is the 3 I think they are okay, and the 3 guys who I think they are okay. Good. I watched them, and I watched them, and I watched them, and I watched them, and there was this guy who did the music with Hans Zimmer. His name is Omar Rodriguez Lopez, who is the leader of a band called the Mars Volta. He comes from the beautiful Puerto Rico. Beautiful island, you should go. And I say, Omar, look, I have already picked up my choices. Is this girl and this guy. which is Jennifer Lawrence and J.D. Pardo, and say, yeah, I think they are good. No, I'm sure about it. So I called Debbie Sane and say, okay, I have Jennifer Lawrence and I have J.D. Pardo. And she says, Guillermo, you have 3 weeks of casting, that's the first day. I don't mind. This is really good. That was at 10 p.m. At 11:30 p.m., I'm in my room and Charlize calls me. She's producer. Hey, what are you doing? This is your first day of casting. Don't be ridiculous. Directors with some experience, they wait until they see all the casting and they decide. I say, no, forget about it. This girl is going to be Oscar winner. Really? You can ask Charlize if she comes here. She comes here, sorry. She's going to be an Oscar winner. And I even told the Mexican press, she's going to win around 12, 14 Oscars through her life. Because she's spectacular. She is. Now she has 1 nomination and 1 Oscar at the age of 22, imagine, but she's going to be 17.
So Charlize Theron was executive producer. Did she agree fairly quickly? How did she?
No, then I have a call from Walter Parks, and then I have a call from the financier. The financier wanted me to cast a girl who he says is going to be very famous. I said, no, I want this girl. She is great. So I wanted to put them together to see the chemistry. I went to the casting session to put them together because J.D. Pardo and Jennifer didn't know each other. So I was there and they were playing a scene, and suddenly I say, keep on improvising. And they are there, and suddenly I hear like, the actors were acting, I say like, and I turn, and Debbie Sane and her assistant Dennis both are crying. And I say, what's going on? And Debbie Sane saying something very beautiful. The gods of casting had descended upon us. It was so moving watching them. So I call the financier, I call everyone and say, if I don't have Jennifer Lawrence and J.D. Pardo, I will not make this film. That's it. But let me tell you something. Why I learned so much about casting. First of all, I've been very involved in casting. I casted the Mexicans in the 3 variants. I know about actors. I can tell you enough. I know about actors. I really know. And I know better because I produced a film and the director was very insecure. He made me see actors from Mexico City, Puebla in Mexico, Veracruz in Mexico, Tijuana, León, Bogotá, Colombia, Caracas, Venezuela, Argentina, Buenos Aires, Madrid, España, Barcelona, España, Tucson, Phoenix, San Diego, LA, Seattle, Chicago, New York, and Washington. We saw 7,000 actors and actresses. So after watching 7,000 actors and actresses, I'm an expert. And let me tell you something. You know when an actor is good or not? Because most of actors, if someone hears an actor, in casting they are like, you're angry. Bad actors do this. And actresses? Watch castings. Watch them in film. Really, they are always like, I don't know why. By the way, look. I'm good at eating ice cream. Thanks.
Let's see if any questions from the audience about any of his other talents.
I have other talents. I remember that. Yes.
I just wonder if you could comment between writing.
Here. It's hard to hear you back.
If you could comment on writing scripts that are directed by other directors and writing scripts that you direct yourself. what the difference is.
The difference is I really get along with the director of this film. Great guy. It's fun to work with. Now, you know something? It's very important to work with people who have your same taste. It's sometimes, it has more to do with taste than with ideology, because with Alejandro Gonzalez I have complete different ideologies. Completely. It's like we have nothing to do in this world in terms of ideology. He's very right-wing Catholic. Opus Dei. I am atheist, more to the left. We are completely different, but he has a similar taste than mine. Tommy Lee Jones, the first time Tommy Lee Jones called me and said, I would like to make a film with you. And I'm not easily impressed by anyone. Whoever comes to me and say, I want to make a film with you, I want to see the taste first. Because it's got to be a disaster. So I had dinner with Tommy and I asked him, Tommy, what's your favorite film director? I thought he's going to say someone like Michael Bay or something like that. And he said, Kurosawa. And say, turn around. I turn around, and he has an original watercolor painted by Kurosawa for Ren. That was because Kurosawa painted. Okay. What's your favorite American painter? Edward Hopper. I said, man, this guy has good taste. What is your favorite American living actor? Writer, sorry. Cormac McCarthy. Good. Cormac, the same as me. And I said, do you like trailer homes? And he says, I love them. I love them also. You like hunting? Love hunting. Okay, let's make a film. So that's important, to have the same taste.
Yeah, 1 second, right there.
I can yell.
Okay.
So since this was your first time directing, how long were you kicking this idea in your head? Like, did you have it for a while and you just wanted to direct it yourself, or just that you just couldn't find the right director to fit it, or how quickly did you get the idea?
Well, I was stupid enough to believe the bullshit of directors. I directed a short film you can watch on YouTube. It's called Rogelio, which I shot in less than 12 hours. I was not that difficult as they have been telling me. Then I produced this film with the director watching actors from all over the world and not deciding, because it was fun. He decided the actors after 2 weeks of rehearsals. He says, no, they're not the right ones. What? Yeah, it's not the right ones. So again, and it was a difficult film to cast and to direct. So I say, like many things he's doing, I can do it. I can do them. But what decided me to write, and it's not a joke, is that I wrote so much that I damaged my nerves in my hand. I was not even able to grab a glass or anything. Everything was slipping because I had no strength. And it was very difficult for me to type. It's extremely difficult. And the doctor said, you know something? You are losing your ability to move your hands. The damage in your nerves is so severe that you have to stop writing for 1.5 years. And this is not a joke. I say to myself, what should I do? I'm going to direct the film. So I just sold this screenplay and I went to Walter Parks and said, you know, I cannot write anymore. I want to direct this film. He says, no. He said no like 3 months, and I was like, I want to direct this film. I want to direct this film. So I took pictures and budgets and casting ideas and everything. I said, okay, go. Let's see if someone wants to finance the film. So they financed the film with a much reduced budget of what it was budgeted. This film was planned by the AD in 57 days. They gave me 48. And then I picked up these locations in the middle of nowhere. Because Depot Bay is not the same shooting in Portland where everyone's based, then moving them to the coast and putting them in hotels. In New Mexico, they asked me to shoot in Albuquerque. I shot in Las Cruces, which is 400 kilometers south. Say, okay, you want to have these locations? It's 8 days less. I'll say, okay, I take it. So we run really fast shooting this film for 40 days. And a very important thing in filmmaking is prepping the film. It's taking all the decisions, casting all the characters, doing the scouting, picking up the colors, how they are going to dress. But since I'm Mexican, I didn't have my work permit. So I was only authorized to have casting, but nothing else. Or I can drive by myself all around the United States to look for locations. So 1 week before shooting, my work permit came out, my visa. And I have only 1 week to prep. So with many of the actors, it was like, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you, action. Really? I had no time to cast them. I was watching tapes. I didn't have time to cast, to scout in Oregon. So we finished like shooting like at 8 p.m. in New Mexico. We drove to El Paso, Texas, an hour and a half. We took a plane to Denver, the red-eye to Denver, and from Denver we flew to Portland. In Portland, someone will pick me up and take me to the coast to scout. Then they will take me next day, on Sunday, to Portland to scout. At around 5, 6, they will take me to the airport. And we will arrive like 5 in the morning to El Paso, drive directly to set to work. So it was hard work. I have no idea of where we're gonna put the camera. No storyboards. Everything was like, okay, Charlize, you stand here, and you John stand here, and okay, where should we put the camera? Okay, here, go, boom, running like rabbits, and here in Oregon, running like frogs because of the rain.
Well, okay, we can take one more. It's late, and Cameron has a big day tomorrow.
You know, you represent two different cultures. Like the movie last night, you had a strong bond between Tommy Lee Jones and Estrada, the fellow who plays Estrada. And then this movie, strong bond between Kim Basinger and her lover. Jennifer Lawrence and her lover was Mexican. And so as a screenwriter, how do you kind of represent both cultures, or kind of get them in your head and sort of say, here's how an Anglo would react in this situation, and then here's how a Mexican would react. You know, dealing with those two different cultures and making them come together, which I think you did very well.
Well, it's easy. You know, the Mexican will behave like a great lover, and the American woman's going to fall in love very much with him. It's always happens. No, that's not true. I'm more concentrated on human beings, not in cultures. I'm concentrated on how this particular man, it doesn't matter if he's Mexican or not, will relate to this woman, it doesn't matter if she's American or not. I'm more about that. And then the cultural thing will naturally come out because I'm Mexican, working in an American environment. So something filters by itself without pushing for it.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and thank you, Cameron.